Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is Sow and Tare live chat every Monday at 6 p.m. And hope everybody's doing well. And let me know if you can hear and see me. And we'll go from there. If you guys want to comment, go ahead and comment. If you have questions, we'll do question and answers and we'll have some discussions. And thanks, Verna. Verna is my moderator. She is awesome. And you're awesome. So let's get started. I'm going to go through comments and then I have a little something to talk about at some point. And then we'll continue. All right. You guys were here way before I was. Let's see. First comment, Steve must be taking a nap. Aaron. Steve's yawn. Is it time yet? Such refreshing nap I had. Oh, I'm not late. All right, you guys are silly. A reminder. I'm here. I did go to the feed store, and so I have lots of feed, and that's part of what I'm going to talk about in a little bit. Jasmine won't be able to make it this evening. I think she's at the ball field. She said something about curveballs. All right. Well, hopefully everything's doing good on her side of things. She did say never was very good at baseball. Kind of kicking my butt. Okay, so there might be a game. There might be a game going on. Oh boy. Okay, you guys talking each other. Not a fan of ketchup. I'm not a fan of ketchup either. Why would you do that to a tomato? Meatloaf and bad French fries. Oh my goodness. We used to have French fries growing up that were not French fries. We used to call them JoJo's, and they were like potato wedges that were seasoned, and we'd get them from like a deli. I don't know. We always called them JoJo's. I didn't know they were not called that and stuff. They were called that at that place only, I guess. I don't know. Anybody else had JoJo's? Steve says he made pickled eggs the other day, steak seasoning flavor. We ate the whole pint right after it was made. Not sure that's how pickled eggs are supposed to work. I think you're supposed to let them settle for a while. How were they? And if you did it right away, was the egg less solid? That's a good question. Like Verna says, you didn't even give it a chance the eggs to absorb the seasoning. Seasoning took to it right away. No vinegar flavor. Okay, so did you pickle eggs or did you season eggs? I think you seasoned eggs. Verna says, hey Katrina, hear you loud and clear and love those glasses. Sometimes I wear them, sometimes I don't. These are just, one of them's just glass. The other one is like a very small prescription. And so if I'm in front of the computer a lot, I tend to wear them. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But thank you. But both lenses do have the special blue thing for when you're on the computer. So that's a good idea. But thank you. Steve, I got an error occurred. I'll reload. Uh-oh. Hopefully you'll be back. Oh, you are back. You can start now. Okay. Aaron says my egg production is finally just a few eggs above my sales every day. Aaron, that is so awesome. I spent a little bit of time. The past couple of weeks have been kind of weird for me to be able to get back to the people that I gave freebies to. So I haven't had a whole lot of I haven't had anybody call. I've called the one restaurant owner that I did end up giving birds to. If you guys saw the video today, he's happy with his birdies. But I did do some callbacks today and pretty much figured out that nobody's around after my work time and before my live on a Monday. So a lot of places are closed on Mondays, or the managers don't come in until dinner time. So I think Tuesday is going to be my call day. If I was calling earlier in the day, then I could do that, but I work during the day, so I can't. And that was for egg sales. Yeah. Nope. Ed. And he says, just load the freeze dryer with strawberries, cantaloupe, honeydew melon, okra. I would like to know how honeydew melon works because I obviously haven't freeze dried anything because I don't have a freeze dryer yet. But I have dehydrated watermelon, and dehydrated watermelon is like candy. Because what happens when you take the water out of the watermelon? It's all sugar. So I was like, maybe I can do the same with cantaloupe. Yeah, don't dehydrate cantaloupe. It's not the same experience. So I'd be interested to hear how the honeydew works. Uh-oh. Verna's has been sitting for about a week now. Unfull, huh? Manuel's here. He's here in another room. Hi. Callie Kale Clippers. Hey, Brooke. Hey, Lou. Listening, just got home. I understand. I understand that. Welcome. Maybe saying hi to Manuel and Brooke. Brooke, Kelly Kale Clippers. This is Brooke. Says hello to the family. And oops. Steve says those eggs were delicious. Next time we'll write it down. Well, if next time you write it down, you won't know what you did this time. So maybe write down this time what you think you did. Ed says, what, Verna, you haven't freeze dried in a week? Yeah, that's what she's talking about. Manuel says, I'm here today just checking if everyone else is here. Yeah, we got some people on. Steve says, present and accounted for. Oh, Manuel, thanks for checking. Got my seeds from Baker Creek. Ed, awesome. What are you growing? I actually ordered seed. Let's see. I actually just got this from Baker's Creek and I haven't opened it yet. I know what it is, but maybe I'll open it for you guys. I just ordered one packet and usually order a bunch, but this is Amsterdam celery, and it's a celery, kind of like how broccolini is like a small broccoli. The celery is always small stalks, and it's a cut and come again, which I thought was really interesting because I do have celery that comes up in the yard on its own, but it's the bigger celery, so you have to kind of wait. And this one, you can eat the leaves as well, which you can eat the leaves on the other celery, but I forget what compound it has in it that you're not supposed to have very much of it. So apparently this one is more edible. Anyway, I thought that would be pretty cool to have cut and come again celery. And then I did get some more seeds. I got ova leaf seed, which is something that a Japanese restaurant, he says, is having a hard time finding ova leaf, and I had no clue what that was. And it's on the table here somewhere. I don't see it right now, but it is a Japanese herb that is not really seen. And so I do have that, and I'll grow it, and if it grows well, I'll see if he wants to buy any. So that's a good plan. Yeah. Melon works good in the freeze dryer, Verna says. Okay, that's good. Does it rehydrate well, or is it just a fun snack? Because I would imagine that rehydrating might not be well. Are you coming to say hi? No? Honeydew is yummy. I agree. Everybody saying hi to Brooke. And can you turn the sound off of that? Manuel just came in. He's watching the live, and I'm listening to myself. 8 here, 8 likes. Awesome, Verna. 9 here, 8 likes. Somebody hasn't heard something they like yet. It's okay. High-pitched baby talk to the kits. I can't help myself. Yeah. So Brooke's talking about kits as in baby bunnies, and you have to have a nice little voice for them. I find that I do that too, but I do that for all of the animals. So yeah, and I talk to them, like have full conversations with them too. I don't know who talks to their animals. Does anybody else talk to their animals? Like I talk to them. Yeah. Vern says I freeze dry regular celery leaves for seasoning. Yep. Awesome. Ed says same mailer I got. Talking about Baker Creek. Baker Creek's awesome, guys. And they don't charge for shipping, which is awesome. Usually I do more than one seed packet, but I decided I need to use the seeds I have, except for ordering more tomato seeds. That's what my focus needs to be this year for different heat tolerant tomatoes. Yeah. So you had indigo blue chocolate tomatoes. That sounds wonderful. I wonder if it tastes as wonderful as it sounds. And black strawberry tomatoes. Awesome. Verna says all except cooked food I use as fun stacks. So that's out of the food dryer. Yeah. And that's good. That's a good thing to use it for, as long as you drink your water, because otherwise it'll soak up all your acid in your tummy, which I'm sure you're doing. Callie Quail Keeper says, I literally fed honeydew to all the animals as a treat today. Oh my gosh, they are blessed. I want you to feed me honeydew. I have not bought honeydew or cantaloupe in a very long time because I grew it. And after you grow it, the stuff in the store just isn't good. Like, not at all. It's such a different experience to grow your own. So I encourage everybody to grow your own. And it's awesome. You don't get very many per plant, so just keep that in mind, but it's really good. Yeah, honeydew for the animals. That's pretty good. It says honeydew is yummy in the freeze dryer and not messy. I don't mind the mess of honeydew. Yeah, talking to the animals. Vern talks for animals. I love to argue with the roos and talk to the kui as well. Yeah. Steve says, who is holding out on a like? Go ahead and hit it. We won't know who it is. Ooh, there's 10 people now and 8 likes. It's okay. Okay. Speaking of water, Aaron, hey, you got to it before I did. I was going to do it later. We can talk about it now. Aaron, did you do your homework? Do you remember what your homework was? Does anybody else remember what Aaron's homework was? Brenda says, yeah, Aaron, did you at least water bath water? So if there's anybody new here, the homework I gave Aaron and anybody else who is listening, if you've never canned and you're afraid of canning, especially if you're afraid of pressure canning and you have a pressure canner, is to go through your recipe and can water, because you're not wasting food. If you screw up, you can just start again and you're not wasting any food. You're not wasting anything. So you can use a used lid. You don't have to use a new lid because this is just an experiment and it's water. And, you can just use that. So he's not answered yet. So I don't know. It's still in the box is Aaron's answer. We have had a rough week on the homestead. I get that. Yeah. So this week was basically mostly the first week of the rabbit babies. And they've been super sweet and super cute. And I've been trying to handle tortellinis, every single one of them, which is 5, a lot more, because one of them hopefully is going to be a female that we keep for as a breeder, and I want her to be handled. And I don't know if they're male or female yet because they're only a week old. Yeah. So Callie says, it's me. So I think you're talking about talking to animals. Hey, Jesse's here. Hi, Jesse. Good evening, everyone. Just got home from picking up some free stuff I found on Facebook. Free stuff is good. Free stuff is really good. Ed loves free stuff. I love free stuff too. Everybody's saying hi to Jesse. Callie says, I say, hey, sweet babies, in a high pitch when walking to the birds and whistle, and they know it's mom. Yeah, I say, hi, birdies. That's what I say when I'm coming up the path. one of them sees me. One of the aviaries can kind of see me coming. The other aviary is kind of in the corner, and they can spook a little bit if they don't know you're coming. So I just talk to them as I approach them. Verna says, "Hey Brooke, do you have the link for the stuff you use as leg band on your quail? Ooh, do you have something new? Are you the one that was using those wrist twisty things? Anybody know what I'm talking about? I don't know the name. Yeah, I would like to know too. Jesse saying hi back. If it ain't free, it ain't for me. Callie says. Aaron says, I got some hatching time cages so I can work on color projects. I was so excited to put the quail in the cages that raccoons also like quail. All of my Egyptian layers and some colors are gone. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Aaron, that sucks. Were they in the hatching time? Or were they in something else? Yeah, we have raccoons in our neighborhood, and I saw two of them go into the same drain, so they're working in pairs. So I do have, as you guys saw in the video today, I do have the quail mobiles. That's what I'm calling them, and they're not quite all the way done. That's okay. It's working. But they have, what that is, if you haven't seen the video from today, go ahead and look at it. I haven't done a build video yet because we're not done building them. But it's basically a garden cart. It has the little diamonds. And thinking about raccoons, because I know we have them, they have those little child creepy hands. I have a space about that much in between the bottom of the cart and the floor. The floor is 1 by half, like rabbit flooring is what it is, just rabbit flooring. And then the sides are actually the old flooring for the rabbit hutches. When I got the rabbits and the hutches came with them, the hutches had just hardware cloth, 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch hardware cloth on the bottom. So I changed that out to a better wire, but we are reusing that as for the sides, so that if a raccoon did try and reach in, they would have to reach in. Now those are only separated by like that much, but they would have to reach in 2 layers on the sides. The only place where there's 1 layer, I think, is right by the feeder, but yeah, on the sides. But yeah, raccoons are an issue, and I haven't had them be an issue yet for my quail. I'm not saying they won't be, but I am trying to take the precautions that I know how to take, so that hopefully I don't have that. So if anybody has any anti-raccoon suggestions for Aaron or anybody else, go ahead and put it in the comments. Yeah. Verna's agreeing with me about something. I don't know what we're agreeing about, but thank you. Jesse says, also picked up my Whiskey Tango Farms Christmas hatch-along eggs today. Awesome. Yeah, today. Is it that close? It's not that close yet. Are you going to hang on to them, or are you going to hatch them and then they'll come before Christmas? Is that right? Yeah, you're a few days early. When does that start? Because I know they did that last year. Callie says, no leg bands, not sure. If necessary, I use tiny zip ties. Okay. Yeah, the leg bands that I have used is just like the little plasticky ones. They look like those little rubber bands for braces. That's what they look like. And those work okay for standards, but for jumbo sizes, you really want to take those off the leg before they cut into the leg, because the jumbos have bigger legs, and they can grow into them. And they also don't keep them on, even the standards. They don't, some of them keep them on, some of them kick them off, and then they do rot off outside. I don't know if they would do that in an indoor system or not, but outdoors they do. Yeah. Ed says time for a hot fence. Could be. Oh, Aaron says yes. I'm guessing that's the hatching time. The raccoon ripped the doors off the cages. Wow. Yeah, they are determined little boogers. I don't have them, but as I understand it, hatching time cages are meant for indoor or inside another protected area, but I don't have them, so I don't know that for sure. But that sucks. I'm sorry. Berna says, Aaron, get some of that solar powered electrical poultry vents. Yeah, Premier One has that, and there's another well known company that I don't know the name of right now. I know it's in my head somewhere. Yeah. Brooke saying hi to Jesse. Aaron says, Ed, I'm using a Ruger protection program now. I don't know what that is unless that is the name of your dog. Am I right in that? I don't know. Aaron says, I've been spending my days building my quail barns so they'll be in cages in there. Okay. So yeah, you're in the in-between part of you're in the in-between. Hopefully that barn can get up and you can have no raccoons in them. And then also make sure you rat proof the area because rats are ridiculous. Ed says, Aaron, that works well and is a permanent salutation. Yeah. Yeah, Verna put a link. It's to protect against raccoons. I recommend it's Premier One. That's the one I said. I've never used electric fencing. I just hear all about it, and I know that that's one of the premier companies. Steve says my anti-raccoon would be a 38 ACP. Well, yeah. Oh, Ed says 22 is cheaper. But you'd have to buy that. Yeah, I don't have either. Callie's asking, have you put the bands on above the knee before? I have not, because the bands that I was using is like the little ones off of Amazon, the little stretchy ones. And I would not feel confident just because I have seen it where it cut into the leg. I would not feel confident that I would not miss that. So I would rather it fall off, I guess, than like cut into the leg up there. I know, I think Whiskey Tango Farms bands above the knee, but I don't think they're using the same band as I think they're using the bands from that Wyanola Ranch sells, which I don't have any experience with. But it does make sense if they're going to kick them off to put it on the larger part, above the leg. But I don't know if that works. It would depend on the size of the band and the size of the bird's leg. So if you do that, let me know how that works. When I saw it cut into the leg and I had missed that was happening, you feel really, really bad. So I actually have determined that I'm not going to band unless it's a very, very short amount of time. And then I'm going to take the bands off and make sure everybody's is off. Basically banding to separate or to decide who to keep and stuff like that. Yeah. Or like maybe it has a week to grow or something. And then I'm going to take the other ones out. Something like that. Ed says, but you want to buy a thunder stick. Oh boy. Jesse says they go into the incubator. Is talking about quail going into the incubator on Thursday for Christmas hatch. Okay, so you have a few days to wait for that. That makes sense then. The eggs arrive faster than expected. Gives them plenty of rest time that way. Yeah, and you can actually just put them right in the egg turner and start turning them without being in the incubator. That's how I store my eggs. And actually, I had the surprise hatch start yesterday morning. Yesterday was supposed to be lockdown midday, and I woke up and I had a all weekend Friday, Saturday, Sunday webinar workshop thing, a um, value added summit that's put on every year, and it was really, really, really good. And they started the summit at 6 a.m. Eastern time, and then how they did it is they had videos that you could access from that point for the whole day, and they had them all for the day, and you can pick and choose which ones you wanted to watch, and you could put little comments. And then when you at the end of the day, they kind of have a recap, kind of a YouTube live recap. And then if you were one of the all access people, if you had the all access pass, which you paid for, which I did that because I knew that I was not going to wake up at 3:00 in the morning West Coast time and start these things and do all that. So I have access now forever for those talks. And then for the people with that, you actually had a YouTube live with these people, and got to do question and answer for a long time, and it was really valuable. Plus, I won one of the giveaways, which one of it's $100 of Johnny Seeds, and the other is a marketing appointment to help with my marketing. So money well spent. I got my money back and more. Yeah. Anyway, so I sat down on Sunday thinking, okay, now I'm going to start all these videos and have a long day sitting at the computer again, which again, sitting all day, not good. Conference, wonderful. And I start hearing this peep. I'm like, who is peeping? And there was already a baby hatched. And then I looked, and there's another baby hatching right there, and the egg turner's still on. They were early, but they were they were early. So what I did, if you saw the video today, you know what I did. If you didn't, go watch it. It'd be funny. I went and took a shower so that I could steam up the bathroom. Didn't use the exhaust fan, which is not a great decision for your bathroom, but it's a great decision if you have quail in an incubator that are hatching when they're not supposed to be hatching yet. So I took them into there in a humid environment and took the lid off and put everybody else on lockdown. And then those two babies stayed there, and they're still in there. So I'm going to be taking those out tonight and put them in a tote brooder because our girls are still in the the big brooder. So they'll be fine for a couple days until we get the other Quailmobile finished. Anyway, so lots of them are hatching, lots of them are doing really well. So yeah, that's the story there. And they're right below you guys. Let's see. Aaron says, I've been procrastinating building it for a while. This is the barn. Well, once you have it done, you're going to be like, why did I wait so long? Yeah. Oh, Brooke says, I've put in 560 eggs in the new GQF. God is good. So you know if it's more than that, right? Is this your first run in that GQF, or have you ran some in there before? So Brooke was basically gifted this huge incubator, which is really awesome. Ed says, wow, awesome, Brooke. Verna found Amazon plastic. Okay. Yeah, so that's what I thought Brooke was talking about. What Verna's link is. That's what I thought Brooke was talking about. Somebody was doing that. Yeah. Cali Quail Keeper says, I get that, grow into them or out. I've never done that method. Yeah, somebody on the Newbie Quail Lovers site, Facebook group, put that down, and they said that worked. I think it was like 3 or 4 loops that they were using is what they found, that it didn't come off. Anyway, I haven't heard any updates on that, and so that would be interesting to hear about if somebody is using that, to let us know. If you don't know what we're talking about, click on the link that Verna put. Yeah. Hey, Dawn. Well, I'm late, but I made it. That's okay. You're all right. Callie Quail. Brooke, your name is so hard for me to say. I'm just gonna say Brooke. Brooke is Callie Quail Keepers. Thanks, Ed. Slow and steady. Way in over my head last year. Oh, you were doing too many things? Yeah. It's easy to do. Yeah. Verna just ordered 100 of those stretchable cords. Well, then you'll have to tell us how that works then. Do your research there. Everybody saying hi, Dawn. That is wonderful, Verna says, about baby birdies. Yeah. Yeah, they're doing really good. And this was a bunch that I actually reached out to Zach from my Shire Farm on. The first day I put him in, and the incubator went up to 102 for 15 minutes. And I saw that on the app on the Govee, that it was for like 15 minutes. I'm like, oh no. And so I'm like, well, what do I do? And so I got it to equalize. He said it should be fine. And it wasn't very long. And so I think that's true because there's lots in there. I haven't counted them yet, obviously, because they're still in there. But yeah, I did reach out to him though, because I was like, 102 is really, really high. So yeah, that was not good. But there's lots of hatching. Let's see. Jesse's congratulating Brooke. GFQ is the best. Brooke says 150 professional series, a dream. Yeah, you're gonna have to expand your Cajun aviary areas. Aaron loves his GQF incubator. I have a Hovabator. It fits. I need to do a video on this. Maybe I'll do it after I take these guys out. So actually, I have my thing right here. Because I just took this out, I have it right here. Let me get the cord. So this is my egg turner. And for my egg turner, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It comes with 6. And I took them out and repositioned them so they have more space in between. And the reason for that is because my larger eggs were getting crushed by the egg turner. So if you reposition them, you can fit 100 instead of 120 eggs in here, and it will work. So that is how you solve your crushing eggs issue. If you're having that issue with jumbo eggs, so you can see the space between, that's enough room for a egg. So there you go. I'll do a video on that at some point. Be a really easy video to do, I think. But that's how I solved that problem. And I don't need 120 quail. I mean, not that I've had a 100% hatch rate, but my big brooder that I have is built for 90. I think if you had a couple over 90, that'd be fine. But I don't need 120 quail. So having 100 eggs is completely fine. So there you go. I don't remember why I went on that rant, but there you go. Oh, because I have a Hovabator. I have a Hovabator, which I would pick up and show you, but there's a bunch of birdies in it. It's just a styrofoam one with a forced air system. Oh, Brooke says it's the first run. You have more eggs, send them my way. Yeah, that is awesome. I'm curious to see how you like it, if there's a learning curve or if it's like super easy, or if it runs better with lots of eggs in it versus little bit of eggs. Because I know like some people put ceramic eggs in with their quail egg in with their eggs if there's not very many eggs. So I don't know. Good luck. That's what I know. Good luck. Dawn says, I made it, but late by accident. It's okay. At least you're not late on purpose. We got to get you some wheels to get up your ramp for your feed. That's what we need to get your guy to get on that. Brooke says, trying to keep up with orders and such, plus extra eggs for incubation. Yeah. Verna says, yeah, and it spreads as they grow. Yeah, the band. So the band is that curly Q thing, and so it doesn't constrict. It just opens like that. I think if it works, it sounds really great. It sounds excellent. So I really hope it works. And yeah, maybe someone can start cutting those things up and earning some money. Pre-cut band twisties, leg twisties. I don't know what you would call them, but that would be something marketable that would be easy for someone to do, is to cut them up and repackage them. You heard it here first. Brooke says, you have to know it's just myself on this quail adventure. It's a lot of work. Yeah, it is a lot of work. Manuel helps on projects, and sometimes he's like, oh, I'll do that. I'm like, okay, we can do that. And it takes some time to get things done. But really, I'm the one making decisions. I'm the one doing a lot of the work. So he does help with builds, and sometimes he feeds animals for me and stuff like that. But I'm doing most of the work too. So yeah, I understand. Dawn's going to replay to catch up. Thank you. You missed a lot. No. Oh, good point. Steve says, Cali quail keepers, not on your own. We are here with you. We are here with you. We are. And we support you. Verna says, that is exactly what I do. Also, it looks like the Turner from Hovabator. Yeah, this is the Turner from the Hovabator. Yeah, that's what I do. Okay. Steve says, I'll have to check my Turner. I don't think I have those extra slots. Now I'm jealous. So there's on the edge, you can see on this side, I'll do a video on it. I'm not going to pull things apart right now, but on this side, you can see that one has a Turner in it. This one doesn't. This one does. This one doesn't. That one does. This one doesn't. So there's extra holes. So there's different spacings you can do. I'll do a video on it. And I just know some people are having issues with that. And that was my solution, because I don't need 120 at a time. Yeah. Brooke says, my Little Giant rails look like that. I think Little Giant and Hovabator, aren't they the same company? I might be wrong. They might not be. They're probably not. I don't know. Verna says hers is white. Yeah, I've seen a white version that looks like that. I think it's exactly the same. Brooke says, interesting. Good thought. Half full opposed to full. Yeah, it would be interesting to see, like, I mean, kind of like the thought of when you have a freezer and it's empty, it takes more energy to run than a freezer when it's full. So it would be interesting to see if you have, like, if you're running a smaller batch of 560, because it fits over 1,000, right? Or 2,000 or something like that. That you can, if it's a smaller batch, then you can maybe put like terracotta in it or something. I don't know what's safe, what doesn't off gas and all that, but something ceramic. I don't know. It would be interesting to just have your take on maybe how much electricity you think it's using, or if it needs to be adjusted more or less, because it's so big. I don't know. Do a video on it. We'll watch it. Yeah, so Brooke says hers fits 120 as well. I think most of them are pretty much this. Most of the small incubators, the styrofoam ones, I think are pretty much the same style. Don says he would rather carry it and cry about his back later. We have dollies, furniture movers, wheelbarrow, even my walker. So Don is talking about the video from Sunday of being able to move 100 pounds of food from the car to where it goes with one hand. We had a conversation in the comments in there, so that's what she's referencing. Verna says, I do it all myself, only limited about space. Yes. But I have a set of 13 steps that have to be climbed. Yeah, and you know what? When you carry a bunch of stuff, you know exactly how many steps there are. Right? Because if you don't count them going up when you have a thing right here or a thing right here, you might miss it. Brooke says, I was pretty insane weighing all birds and eggs, documenting. Now I can tell by weight in hand. Yeah, I haven't, like, with keeping the males and stuff, I haven't weighed them or anything like that. I'm just like, oh, are you nice to the girls? Do you do your job? And let's see which one weighs more. Oh, you do? You get to stay. Like, I haven't done that. I mean, I haven't weighed eggs either, so I'm kind of going by hand anyway. Zach says if you can tell if eggs are fertile by hand. I don't know about that. I don't know. No, Hovebater is by GQF. Little Giant is not. Well, yeah, mine says GQF on it. Mine's a Hovebater. So I guess you're right. Cali Quail Keeper says we have terracotta chicken eggs at feed store. I'm curious now. I don't know. It would be. I'm just interested in that question. You can provide the answer. I'll let you play scientist. Erin says, Brooke, are you incubating and hatching in your GQF? Yeah. So she's. Okay. The question is, are you using your GQF as an incubator and a hatcher, or are you hatching somewhere else? I got it. Ed says, Brooke, those are hard to eat. Yeah, I can't crack those ones open. Verna says, Katrina started this hatch. I will be weighing as I take them out of the incubator and then weekly until 10 weeks. Yeah, and that would be good because you're starting your big experiment, right? Of their reproduction and how long a line can go, right? And Verna, I missed your live. I was on this weekend summit all weekend. So have you put them in the incubator yet? Yeah, Verna's going to be looking at how long a line can go until she starts to see inbreeding things visually, which I think is a pretty good thing to know. And then you just get more eggs. If they're having issues, you get more eggs from somebody. Really funny. Yeah. Hard boiled eggs, right? Steve says Little Giant and Farm Innovators don't have the adjustable. Oh, it's just set. Okay. Well, I don't know what to do then. Get out your saw. Brooke says, I'm thinking I'm going to dry hatch through day 14 and then set in the GQF for lockdown. Yeah, I think it's been more humid. I'm going to guess it's been more humid where you are as well. We have rain in California. Brooke is also in California. I don't know how many hours apart we are, but we're several hours apart. But it has been raining. So, yeah. Oh, Verna, finish the line experiment. It isn't until the 12th generation that you start to see signs of inbreeding. Now doing an experiment. Oh, about growth and sizes. Okay. I misspoke. Yeah, so I went to the feed store today and I have a receipt. And there's 3 types of food that I buy at the feed store. One is for my quail chicks. And the closest thing I can get to the good food for them is a turkey starter. It's a 27% turkey starter. And for the quail that I have, for the quail food that I use, I tried to get as close to the kind of variations in nutrients that Zach on My Shire Farm has. You can look up his video on feed, and it shows kind of the variances of what you should have for ideal food. And so that's the closest I can get where I am. And so that I knew it went up last time I was there, but that has gone up to $25.50 for 50-pound bag. So $25.50 for a 50-pound bag, which is a lot. And when I started, it was, I think that was $20 when a couple years ago. I think it was $20 or a year, whenever it was. The other thing that I buy, which is for the quail after 8 weeks and the chickens, is a regular chicken layer crumble. And that is a 16% chicken layer crumble. And that was $20. So that used to be 16 at one point, and then it stayed at 18 for a long time. Now it's 20. So that is up. The rabbit food is the third thing that I buy. And rabbit food, thank you for posting that link, Verna. Verna posted the link about the food and the from My Shire Farm. And the rabbit food, I haven't bought rabbit food in a while because I had some at the end of the breeding season last year. So early, late spring. And when you don't have babies to feed, rabbit feed takes forever to use, right? You're using that much every day for your rabbit. And basically I just hadn't even looked at the price of that food since, I don't know, May, maybe June. It is up to $23.50. Now it used to be $18. Last time I bought it, it was $18. So $23.50 for a 50-pound bag. So I just thought that was interesting since I bought all three today. I thought I'd share that with you guys. And I really need to get on it of seeing what kind of feed I can put together that is nutritionally full for the rabbits, because I think that especially for rabbits, you can do that. And as I understand it, Living Traditions Homestead on YouTube, he is also starting an experiment of his own for feeding quail without bag food. So that'll be interesting to see where that goes. I'm putting together something for rabbits that's taking me forever. So if you have information about that, go ahead and send it to me. I'm looking at doing, number one, what can they eat? Number two, what should they stay away from when they're lactating or pregnant? Number three, what should they have? What should they have maybe extra of when they're lactating or pregnant? And then also just a nutritional. Once I have that list, I want to get the nutritional information for each of those plants, and then try and match it up with what's on the feed tag. That's my goal with all the other things I'm doing. Yeah. Oh, Verna's saying the first experiment took 3 years to do 12 generations. Yeah. Yep. Aaron says, most of the time have different eggs in my GQF going at the same time. So I put the eggs into lockdown in Little Giants to hatch. It works best now for me. I'll be ordering a GQF hatcher soon. Yeah, so that's an interesting point because it holds so many. You can stagger your hatches and have them hatch every day if you want, right? Or every few days. That's a good idea. And Aaron, what is the difference between a GQF hatcher and a GQF incubator? Is it that it has those special little cage things? I've not researched that because I am definitely not that big. Oh, Brooke says it rained 3 inches last few days. GQF, I won't have to tinker with lockdown and humidity. Yeah. 3 little giants to run first 14 days. Yeah. We got, was it 1.4 inches one day, 1.09 or 1.1 or something like that another day. I think it was Friday and Sunday? Saturday. Thursday and Saturday is when it rained, I think. Yeah, so we're getting rain, which is good. It's good. It's not quite enough to be problematic here. I haven't heard about landslides or anything. I know in the mountains here we have a lot of fire scars, and when that happens and it's followed by rain, that can cause a lot of mudslides or landslides. So I don't know. I haven't heard of any of that happening. So that's good. Yeah. Dawn says, "Wow, that is a lot. I get 40 pounds for $11.49, 28% game bird starter crumble." Dawn, where are you? I'm in California. That might be part of it. Jesse says, "I use Hatching Time cabinet incubator for lockdown. The only Hatching Time product I have found worth buying." I haven't even heard of that, but I'm not looking for one, so I wouldn't have even researched that. Interesting. Oh, Brooke says, "Aaron, we should see opposite methods." Yeah. Oop. Here we go. Oh, Verna says, "Dawn game bird starter here is $23.99 for 40 pounds. So you guys have 40-pound bags, not 50-pound bags? Is that a standard? Because I think over here the standard is 50-pound bags. Yeah. Brick says, "Dawn, you are lucky. $28 for game bird starter here, not Purina." Yeah. Aaron says, "The GQF definitely maintains the temps better. I never tried doing it the opposite way because of the bulk amount of eggs I hatch." That makes sense. I guess once it gets up to temp, it's going to maintain it because it's larger. Right? Maybe. John says, "That's expensive too, Verna. The game bird for me is cheaper than 50 pounds of Neutrina 16% layer feed." Yeah. Yeah. Dawn says, "Central Illinois." Okay. Farm supply chain is Bukit. I'm sure I said that wrong. And only in Illinois. Okay, you have like a specialty local place. Got it. Farmers grow the grains just for them. Horizon Acres. Yeah, if you're closer to the producer and the producer only goes so far, then that's probably why it's cheaper. Ed says Tractor Supply's 30% protein starter game bird turkey feed, 40-pound in 2021 was 21. Now it's 25. Yep. And last time I went to Tractor Supply, I peek in at things sometimes, even though I don't go to Tractor Supply for feed. I'll go there if like every once in a while the feed store I go to is out. I'll go there. Last time that happened, I had to get meat bird feed, which is like for Cornish Cross. And man, that had some stinky poop for sure. But yeah, they don't have a whole lot. They run out a lot here of what I'm looking for, at least. Starter here is 40 pounds, but I get 20% off working at the feed store. Score. Yes, Brooke, that is a great score. Maybe they think you're going to use less because it's a starter. It's not true. Verna says the one that isn't that brand is $35.99. Wow. Ed says 50 pounds is 29. Man. Jennifer's here. Hi, Jennifer. "I dispatch my own quail. Do you know anyone that makes a quail funnel?" You're talking about the cone that you put the quail in? I have a video. Maybe Verna can find it. It's called Harvesting Coturnix Quail. And I show you in that video the. Thank you, Verna. But I have a video called Harvesting Coturnix Quail, and in that I show the cone that we use. I also have a video. What is it called? It's like improving the quail cone or something like that. You can look on my channel, look under quail, and there's those two links. And basically what I use is a water bottle or like a Tropicana bottle or a soda bottle you can use, and put that upside down in a sink, in a hole. The one that we did an improved one in is the one that I improved upon was basically a 5-gallon bucket with a board on top with holes drilled in it, a whole bunch, and then put cones in the holes. And that way I could have many of them drain at the same time and could dispatch several of them and let them drain. By the time I come back, by the time the cones are full, the first one would have drained all the way. And so then I can start processing the rest of it. So that was what I use. It's simple, it's cheap. You probably already have it. If not, you can go buy some juice, go buy some soda, and you have a free cone. So that's what I use. Yeah. So I don't know if that's the link that you put, Werner, or not, but you can use that. You can make one out of sheet metal if you wanted, but I just don't think it's necessary when like a bottle works. You just turn it upside down and cut off part of it, and it works just great. Yeah. Verna didn't see you sneak in. I didn't either. Ed says it is Purina. Oh, the $29 one. Yeah. Brooke says Matt at Grafted Branch uses cones and funnels. Yeah, I think I've seen his setup. But yeah, just a bottle turned upside down in a hole. You can do that in the sink or on a board, and it's cheap. I mean, it's basically free if you already have a bottle to use. Don says it's cheaper and better feed than Nutrina from Rural King. I don't have Tractor Supply for 60 miles, just Rural King and Buquette. Yeah. Jennifer says yes. I don't know it too, but hopefully it was good. Yeah, I haven't clicked on that link, but hopefully that's helpful. Brooke says, I love that idea, Katrina. Upcycle bottles. Yeah, if you haven't seen that video, go on the go on my page, on my YouTube page, and look at the quail setup, or the quail playlist, and both of those are in there. The singular, which I used to use, and then now I use a bunch of them over a bucket just because you sit there. I like to bleed them out completely, and that it takes a minute or so. But if you're waiting a minute for each of them to bleed out, then you're just wasting time. So if you have a whole bunch of them, thank you, Verna. It's the link to my harvesting quail. Awesome. Yeah, so if you let them bleed out all the way, it's going to be, in my mind, a better product, and then you don't have blood everywhere, and it's better all the way around. And then also, if you have that in over a bucket, you catch the blood. And basically what I deal with that, how I dealt with that this time is I actually just filled the bucket with water, and it was basically bloody water. And then I fed that to my green stalks. So that was which is a vertical tower planter. So that was a way that I fertilize my green stalks. So I've been trying to be more conscious about that because in the past, I have not been great about container gardening that is not hooked up to water because I forget to water things. So automatic water saves you. Yeah. And that's a great thing to do. But that I'm trying to remember to fertilize with that because it's not in the ground and it does have water going through it in the green stalk system. So yeah. Steve says, Jennifer, just use a plastic cola bottle, trim the bottom out and cut the part out with a cap. Works great for a funnel. Yeah. And Brooke says, do you have plans for baby kits? Do you sell once weaned, process all bucks? So I have plans to keep one female if Tortellini had a female that is calm and good temperament and good. Like I plan to keep one of her females. And if you have that, I have that mindset for that particular litter. So if I was to sell to someone for a breeder, that's not something I'm thinking right now, but I could put it out there, then that would be the litter that I'm doing that because I'm handling that litter much more than Meatball's litter. So like right now in my mindset, I'm going to keep one from Tortellini, and for Meatball's litter, they're going to be food. And I have a lot of people that want rabbits. So, selling rabbits, I don't know all of the rules, but I know selling to friends, you can sell them a rabbit and then I just happen to process it. And you can sell live rabbits. So that's what it's under. Okay, let me actually do this because I actually just saw I have a water bottle over here and I have scissors over in the refrigerator. So I'll be right back and we will make a cone together. We're doing show and tell today, guys. All right, I'm back. A bottle this size, although it would work for standard size, I don't recommend a bottle this size. So little wider is fine. Those Crystal Geyser sparkling waters are a little wider. That's fine too. Tropicana bottles, 2-liter bottles, soda bottles, and you can do them. And then if you don't know, like, hey, I don't know how this is going to work, make ones of different sizes. And basically that's what I did the first time around when I had the board with multiple cones. I did a bunch of sizes. I had one that was a little small and it worked, but it was a little small. So this is what you do. You have a bottle, it's empty. You have scissors. So the body's going to be about like that. So, and all you do is this. There's your cone. That's it. So Jennifer, how many seconds did that take? So you have this, you put it neck down, and then it'll drip into whatever you have. So you drill a hole, or you can even do this in the kitchen sink, but you can do something where it can set in there. And what I recommend is to have it set a little bit deep, just so, because they are going to be moving. They do have final movements, so that it doesn't like just, fall over. So I would set it in a hole about that deep. So that was super helpful, right? There you go. And then you can use this as a cup. I don't know. So I hope that was helpful, Jennifer. And you know what? You can probably walk along the highway and find something suitable. Yeah. Truck 3 Warden. Hey, how are you? Welcome. He says, I used your method for cones, but used an old wire rabbit cage door and cut holes in the wire to put the bottles in over a bucket. Made a world of difference in speeding up processing. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And anything that I make, like, so I have a playlist called Building Things, I think is what it's called. And if you're interested in any of that, just you can watch it and then just think of how you can adapt it, because most of the stuff I build here is trying to reuse materials or find ways to use free materials or reuse, like the rabbit cage floor. I took that out and I'm used it for the quail mobiles. Like, and so like you said, instead of using plywood, you use the wire, which is great. And I'm glad that helped you, because I hadn't seen that before. And I'm like, I just need to speed this process up. So I'm glad it worked for you. Jennifer says, I don't drink soda either, Verna. I drink it rarely. I don't have it in the house. It's so funny. Growing up, we had soda, like if it was somebody's birthday party or if there was like a barbecue with lots of families. And then, growing up and being an adult and going off to college, like people have refrigerators full of soda, and it's like, where's your food? So I know people have soda every day. I'm not one of those people, but yeah, it's, you can find a bottle. Truck 3 Warden says, hey, Verna, I've been laid up lately, so I haven't been around much. Glad to be able to catch a live on Monday. I appreciate you being here, and I am sorry you've been laid up. I hope you get healed up quickly. Yeah. Steve says, find water bottles or pick them. Oh, find water bottles or pick them out of the garbage. A garbage can at the park. Yeah. Yeah. And Verna is live at 1 p.m. on Eastern time, not Easter time, on Wednesday. And yeah, Wednesday lunchtime with Verna. I'm working during that time, so I can't make it. Yeah. So you can see hers. Brooke says, we try to handle all our kits through Grow Out training, training to be held and more docile, great for pets. Yes. And I would hold all of them more if I had more time, which is a poor excuse. Meatball had 9 babies, so that is a lot of babies. They do all get touched and they do all get like picked up, but I've been trying to spend time with like petting, like really holding Tortellini's babies. Yeah. Truck 3 Warden says, Verna, I'll have to make sure I'll make that. Yep. Good talk. Verna says, I use my cones. I have bloodless coal, place in the cone, then cut the head off. Yeah. I do it a little differently where I have, you could use one of these, a bigger one of these, but where you have a bunch of these on a board, and then I actually tape the bottom of something. Usually I use like a yogurt, like a 4-cup yogurt thing, and tape the bottom of that onto the actual board that these are in. And I cut it over that and quickly put it into the cone. And it seems to work. Lots of ways to do it. Verna just remove stuff. Oh, wrong link. Okay. Brooke says, I drank a bunch of soda at QuailCon, no coffee next year. Not a coffee person either. Verna, thank you for putting the Build Things playlist. There's lots of stuff on there. It's kind of funny. Whenever I look at playlists, I'm like, oh, there's actually a lot in there. I don't feel like I have a lot until I look for something. Aaron says, no soda, only water, coffee, and liquid corn. Liquid corn, huh? Steve says, I didn't know they had liquid corn. Yeah, it's not corn anymore. That's why. It's shine. Aaron says, Steve, it's moonshine. Brooke says, I confess, Justin loves to hold and care for rabbits, but wants nothing to do with the quail. Good help in one area. Yep. Yep. And as I understand it, he also kept them cooler this last summer, right? By taking them inside. So that's good to have. Yeah. Um, Don says, do they flip blood while in the cones? I need to do it because holding them with my bad arm hurts after 4 of them. Yeah, so once they're in the cone, I don't really have anything small to put in. Once they're in the cone, if you put them in neck side down, because I don't have a head anymore, but neck side down, then all the blood is going down. And so if you have them, like if you have that over a bucket, all the blood is going into the bucket. Yeah, so I hope that makes sense. Do they flip blood? Yeah, because they will spurt otherwise. They will, like, if you're holding it, like, basically what happens is, okay, we're going to get a little graphic. When you cut off the head, the neck goes like this, right? It bends backwards. So you just have to anticipate that when you're cutting it and point it in that direction. That makes sense? Yeah. Dawn says, I do it over a bucket on a carpeted porch. Maybe put some plastic down. He says, oh, you mean liquid potato mash. I think he's just talking about starch that's been ruined. Brooke says, you rock, Katrina. I love your videos over the year. Thank you. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you for saying that. Verna says, Dawn, you will still need the bucket. Right. So you want some place for the blood to go when using the cones. It's just that you don't have to hold them. Because when I don't like to hold them when they flop around. Yeah. Steve says, I nailed the bottles to a wooden board. They were secure. And if they flopped, they were secure. Yeah, that's another good option. I left them loose just so I can wash them better. But yeah, if you have a good way to wash them, then you're good. Or replace them because they're, maybe you're using bottles throughout that time period. Yeah, Dawn says I hold them deep into the bucket. Yeah, I think having cones will save you. That sounds like it would also save your back because I can see that if you're holding it deep in the bucket, you'd be leaning over a lot. You can actually. What I do is I set the bucket. I can do it one of two ways: just set it on the ground and sit in a chair, or I can set it on top of a box so it's higher up at a level that's comfortable. I think part of that is ergonomics, is knowing how to hurt your body less. You're going to have aches and pains, but if you can do things to reduce that, then it's always going to be better. So if you can find ways to do that, I mean, like picking up eggs, for example, in the aviary, I made my egg picker upper. It's a ravioli skimmer, on a long pole, and it works great. And you don't have to lean over every time you have to pick up an egg. There's a whole lot of things that you can do for your body, putting wheels on the thing that carries your feed. It's going to be better for your body. Yeah. Steve says, I knew. Oh, I hear you read that. Brenna says, I have my cones over puppy pads. Puppy pads hold a lot. They do. Brick says, yes, I can go on vacation and depend on him. Good feeling. Summer was brutal. Yeah. Yeah, I was away some days for work this past year, and Manuel needed reminders, so I'd call him and say, hey, did you do this? Oh, yeah, I'll do that. And yeah, so it's good to have that. And then I also have neighbors that are really good and can look after the animals and do a great job. So that's good too. It's good to have at least a couple people in your circle that can take care of animals or knows what to do, or that's also a good reason why to make your system easy. You want to make it easy on yourself, but you also want to make it easy in case something happens. Like, okay, if you want to go on vacation, you can always prep and make that easy. But what if you're always prepared to make it easy? then everything's in place and it's always easy. So like I have the automatic water for all the animals, except for the quail mobile. And I have long-term feeders for all animals. So, if I leave, I always ask to them to check the just check the level of the food, later in the time that I'm going to be gone, or depending on how long I'm gone, I'm like, okay, on such and such a date, they might need more food, and it becomes less stressful on everybody learning and everybody who's actually there, doing the job. And then, me, when I'm away, I know that the animals are getting cared for. Like at this point, except for the birds in the incubator and except for the birds in the quail mobile, if I needed to leave, then all the animals outside would be completely fine, except for the rabbits would need to be fed. And that is it. And that is such an easy job to give someone to do. And anybody can do it, So that is, I think it's a good idea to think that way. Yeah. Where were we? Oh, Jennifer says, thank you very much. You're welcome. Get some interaction here. Interaction on Sow and Tare. Dawn says, I don't get one drop of blood on my carpet. Holding for so long hurts my arm. Yeah, definitely. Dawn, definitely look up that multi, I don't even remember what I named it. It's under the quail. It's in the quail playlist. Yeah, look that up and do that. It's so easy. Steve says you can use a whole feed bag. They stand taller than a bucket. Yeah, you can, depending on the thread of the feed bag, it might leak. So that's just a cautionary tale. Some are really tightly woven, some not so much. Verna says, I have 2 cones attached to 2x4 and weave that board in an old drying rack. Okay. And set it on my desk chair and process. Bucket of water on my left and pot of ice beyond the bucket. Yeah. Yeah. And having your setups efficient for you is like, you can see what I do, or you can see what Verna does, or you can see what, whoever does. And it might just be weird for you to do this over here and do that over there. And so finding your own height of things, like I used to try and stand at a table or sit at a table, and it was just the wrong height for me. It was at a weird, wherever I was, if I was standing, it was too short. If I was sitting, it was too tall. And so now I know I don't even use a table anymore. It goes right in. It goes from the cone to, well, right. You'll see in the processing video, you can see how I do it, but I've kind of changed things up even since then. I need to do I filmed another processing video and I have not edited yet. It's a story of my life. All right, let's see what people have to say. Dawn says, that is too close to what I do. Bucket in front of me on a chair, bucket of water on my right, clean ice water on the left. Yep. Brooke says, we can never go on vacation together. Too many animals and people are not responsible enough, unfortunately. Yeah, it sounds like maybe someone at the feed store, maybe you can rely on someone there because they might understand better. But it sounds like building a relationship with someone. I mean, even if it's someone that you pay to stay and do stuff, then that would be good. And this is something that I learned from the value added summit that I attended is, if you want people to work on your farm and you want people to, I know, Brooke, you're still small, but you're large enough for, there to be concerns to leave someone in charge. If you have events at your location and you have kids at those events that are excited about things that you can actually develop these relationships with these younger people to bring them in and bring them in and bring them in. And each time they come, make it affordable, make it, a fun experience, but a learning experience, and do workshops. That brings in money, and it brings in education, and it brings in potentially someone who can work for you. Maybe they want to intern. Maybe they want to learn about something. And part of that can be, maybe it's just someone that likes the quail, likes the rabbits, and you can then train them kind of during those workshops, but also as they are growing, or as, maybe there's a teenager that comes to one of these things, and you can actually find some really good people because you know them through time and you know their interests through time. So that might be, I don't know what your area, your actually physical area looks like, Brooke, but that would be something that I think you'd be good at leading workshops. I mean, even if it's just, hey, farm tour, or hey, let's make skulls, or let's do these crafts. And it doesn't have to be, quail or rabbit related. It could be, maybe you have a hike on the property for some edible plants or something, So I think there's opportunity for you to maybe develop some of those relationships that don't exist right now. And so there's a lot from this workshop that or this summit that I haven't had time to mull yet. But I think that's definitely something that maybe you could incorporate. Verna says, on my right are tools and paper towels. Steve says, Dawn, twist a paperclip, twist a paperclip, fit in the bottle, and have it hang on the bucket edge. No more holding. Yeah, so that would be another option. So basically make it like a Christmas ornament. Don't put it on your Christmas tree. So what he's saying is I don't have a paperclip, but to puncture this part and have that hang inside the lip of the I don't have anything to demonstrate, but yeah, I think that's a good idea as well. And you could just do those all the way around. That might not hold it as steady when they're moving, but it would probably hold them enough. Yeah, sounds good. Good tip. Dawn says, such a great idea. Brooke says, I need to try this bottle method. Just used to just snip at neck or bloodless call. Yeah, so it works. It's fast. And then you come back to it. Like you do this one, and then you come back to it. And then by the time you come back to that one, it's bled out, and then you process that one, and then that one's bled out, and then partway through you can start culling them and having them bleed out while you are processing the rest. So you'll get into the groove of it really quick. Yeah, Verna, you should definitely video yours next time. Yeah. Having different methods and the way different people do things, and especially, Verna, because you're an apartment, like showing people, yes, you can do this inside. Like that is definitely something you should do. Dawn also agrees. Please do the video, because now I have to move it into the kitchen for winter. Yeah. And I call outside, but and process outside, but there's no reason why I couldn't do it inside. Like there's no special reason at all. Yeah. Verna says, Dawn, my birds don't even go into lockdown until the 14th. Going to be at least 8 weeks after that before I can do a video. Yes. Yep. True story. Brooke says, I'm sure you remember being a kid and working for $10 for chores. Love your perspective. Yes, $10 was a lot. Times have changed, but it is a good. I think that you have an opportunity there to do that. to train someone, someone who wants to learn. Okay, let's see. Don says, I'll have to do 5 to 7 roosters any day now. They're going on 6 weeks and getting mean. Oh, give them less light. Give them less light and they maybe won't be as mean. Vernis does butchering classes when you have too many birds. Yeah, that's a good idea. I have not done that yet. I probably should, but I need to kind of drum up more interest about quail in my area because there's not many people do much with quail here, which is interesting. Yeah. Brooke says, you need to take your own advice, love. Yes, so I haven't done any workshops at all. I've thought about workshops. It's on my business card, Brooke, that I do classes, seasonal classes. Season isn't here yet. But I plan on doing these classes. So I'm partway there. It's on my business card. I have all sorts of ideas for different workshops. And I have given random people garden tours, people who are standing out on the sidewalk looking and going, wow, this is great. What's this? And I end up just inviting them in and giving them a tour. Yeah. Verna says, better to use an S clip instead of paper clip, as paper clip might not hold the weight. That's a good point. This is for the cones around a bucket. Terrible screaming from a cuy. Uh-oh. Hopefully they're okay. Katrina, you probably still need to eat dinner. Are you telling me it's time to go? Oh my gosh, it's almost 7:30. Okay. 7:45. We're cutting it off. That's the latest I've done it, huh? We've had some good things to talk about. And no, I haven't had dinner, but I did have dessert. We went to frozen yogurt after going to the feed store. Does that count? All right. Get your questions in or discussions you want to talk about by before 7:45. We'll cut it off there. Let's see. Dawn, I have S clips even if I have to hold it still and not hold the bird so tight. It'd be awesome. Yeah, even binder clips might work. It might work like on a square bucket. Binder clips might be very secure. The ones that are black and have the little thingy sticking up. Yeah. Yeah, Verna says you can use 2 S clips and keep it balanced. Maybe, yeah. Verna only charges them for birds that are harvested. For the butchering class. Yeah. That's good. S clips, that's good. Yes. Yeah. There's lots of different ways to do things. There's lots of different ways that people process their quail, but the way that I found best is the way that I don't have to hold the bird while it's moving, because psychologically that's not great for me. And it can be messy if you do that. Like Dawn has said, she holds it way down in a bucket to bleed it out. And if you don't have to hold it, I think it's so much better. And if you just leave it in the cone, let it do its final movements, and then deal with it, it's much better experience, I think. So, yeah, I think that's a much better experience. Yeah. So, I guess, does anybody have anything else? I said 7:45, but people are slowing down. So I guess we did a couple show and tells here. We had a show and tell of the egg turner, and show and tell for the how to make a cone. A little bigger than this is a good idea. This is for a skinny one, but that's how you do it. Yeah. Well, we might end a little earlier than 7:45. I was only going to go to 7, but we were having good conversations, and I didn't really realize what the time was. All right. Well, I want to thank Verna for being on the link game today and for being moderator. Be awesome. And Brooke says, "Great live. Talk soon, y'all." Yes, thank you for coming. Verna says that would fit an inbred quail. This maybe a 6-week-old. Come on. Yeah. Steve says, as always, thank you for your time. You're welcome. Dawn says, when I get a bird over the bucket ready to snip, it freaks out. I swear they know what is coming. Yeah, I don't let them see what I'm doing. Does that make sense? Like, I try and not let them see like the dead birds and the heads in the bucket, the all that. So and I do the cervical dislocation before I do the snip. So I'm able to do that. So that might be something to help out as well, as for them not seeing, the heads of their friends. I don't know how that affects them, but it can't be good, it can't be a good feeling. Verna says, have a blessed week all. See you tomorrow at Rapid Fire Q&A. Yes, over at My Shire Farm, they have Rapid Fire Q&A at 4 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know what it is his time. I think it's 7. I don't know. No, 5 p.m. I don't remember what it is. Anyway, Dawn says, thank you, Verna and Katrina. Jesse says, good night, everyone. Dawn, not my 6-week-old jumbos. Standards. Okay, 8 p.m. Eastern time is tomorrow's. All right. Thank you guys all. Have a wonderful day, and we will see you guys next time. So see you next Monday, same place, same time. And hopefully you guys have a good week. All right. Have a good night. Enjoy the week.